Good morning. The return board of the 2022 general and special election has reconvened. First, I will preserve the order and decorum of these meetings. Everyone in attendance should be on notice that shouting out or interrupting the proceedings will not be tolerated. Those who violate this will be asked to leave. The Sunshine Act permits anyone attending a public meeting to object to a perceived violation at any time during the meeting. If you choose to do so, please succinctly state your objection. Objecting is not an opportunity for speech making. We will now move to public comment. Commenters shall state where they live, or if they are not a resident of Philadelphia, that they are a Philadelphia taxpayer, or, since this is the return board, which candidate they represent. Public comment is not an opportunity for dialogue or Q&A. It's public comment, a chance for you to tell us what you think. Each speaker shall have 2 minutes. However, I may extend this time at my discretion. All public comments must be relevant or germane to board business. Finally, it is my responsibility to preserve the order and decorum of these meetings. As such, profane, slanderous, discriminatory, or personal attacks will not be tolerated. Anyone here representing a candidate to offer argument on a mail ballot sufficiency determination should wait until the category they wish to make argument on is called later in the meeting. Anyone wishing to offer public comment, please step forward. Good morning.
Good morning. Test. My name's Rich Garella. I'm speaking on behalf of the nonpartisan election advocacy group Protect Our Vote Philly. This is the first election in which Pennsylvania counties will conduct an official pre-certification risk-limiting audit of any results. The audit is to prove to the public that their votes were counted correctly and identified the correct winner. Yet this board has not published its procedures for the audit, nor told the public when and where it will take place or how they may observe. The document Principles and Best Practices for Post-Election Tabulation Audits was produced by Verified Voting and endorsed by the Pennsylvania Department of State's Audit Working Group. According to that document, elections belong to the public. The public must be able to observe the audit and verify that it has been conducted correctly without interfering with the process. Detailed auditing procedures must be published well in advance of elections, with reasonable opportunities for public comment. The public must be given sufficient notice and access to observe key parts of the audit and evaluate evidence of ballot protection with reasonable opportunities for public comment. The public must have sufficient access to witness the random drawing, ballot retrieval, and other audit procedures, and to verify that voter marks are interpreted correctly. Finally, the public must be provided with all necessary information to replicate all decisions and calculations made in support of the audit. So far as we can see, none of these recognized best practices have been adopted. We ask that the board conform to these best practices so that its first official audit is one that increases public confidence as intended. And we request that the board add this item to the agenda of this meeting as permitted by Sunshine Act Section 712.1D. Thank you.
We will now move to Commissioner Bluestein for emailed public comment.
There were no emailed public comments this morning.
Thank you. I now call on John Hansberry to present on the mail ballot sufficiency determinations. John.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning, John.
So far we had some categories that we bring before the board for them to vote on whether or not we can count them. The first category I'm going to bring to the board is a declaration envelope that was not signed or dated.
Is there anyone here representing a candidate to offer argument on this category? Thank you. How many?
149.
149 blank declaration envelopes.
Correct.
I motion that we don't count this category of ballots.
Second.
Commissioner Bluestein, please call the roll.
Commissioner Deely.
Aye.
I vote aye. Commissioner Sabir.
The motion to not count the blank declaration envelopes has passed unanimously. Please proceed.
The next category I have for the commissioners are naked ballots. I will change that to, we are going to present missing signature, but the declaration envelope was dated.
How many?
There are 30 ballots in that category.
I motion that we do not count the ballots in this category.
Second.
Commissioner Bluestein, please call the roll.
Commissioner Deely.
Aye.
I vote aye. Commissioner Sabir.
That was 30 ballots, Commissioner.
The motion to not count the missing signature ballots has passed unanimously. Those ballots will not be counted. Proceed.
The next category I have for the commissioners is a declaration envelope that was signed by someone other than the voter.
No, we should be doing secrecy now, I think.
Now it's,
Nakeds?
sorry, my order in my sheet is a little different.
Sorry.
Okay, so I will present naked ballots.
How many?
There were 1,946 ballots in this category.
Is there any reason to believe that anyone other than the voter listed on the declaration envelope voted those ballots?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Is there any reason to believe that anyone other than the voters listed on the declaration envelope voted those ballots?
No, there's not.
Has there been any fraud or irregularity being alleged?
No.
Are all those voters registered and eligible to vote?
Yes.
So the voters only failed to put the ballot in a secrecy envelope.
That is correct.
Were secrecy envelopes sent with every ballot?
Yes.
I'll make this brief because I've gone on record with this every election about the naked ballots. I believe that the error of forgetting a secrecy envelope is not material in determining whether or not such individual is qualified under state law to vote in such election. It looks like we will need to get a federal court to agree, but once again, I motion that we count the naked ballots.
While I completely agree with Chairwoman Deely's sentiment, unfortunately, the standing court orders are that we are not able to count ballots that are not enclosed in a secrecy envelope. And as such, I will make a motion to not count.
Second.
Commissioner Bluestein, please call the roll.
Commissioner Deely.
Nay.
I vote aye. Commissioner Sabir.
The ballots not enclosed in a secrecy envelope will not count. 2-1. Please proceed.
The next category I have for the commissioners is a ballot signed by an individual other than the voter on the declaration envelope.
How many?
We have 27 in that category.
I make a motion to not count these ballots.
Second.
Commissioner Bluestein, please call the roll.
Commissioner Deely.
Aye.
I vote aye. Commissioner Sabir.
The motion to not count the ballots signed by another individual has passed unanimously. These ballots will not count. Please proceed.
The next category has to do with voters' ID verification. This category is They needed to provide their ID, but did not have a social security number or driver's license number on their shore file.
How many?
That would be 2.
These voters received our ID verification letters, and they responded by filling out the form that we sent them?
Correct.
So these voters, it would be impossible to verify using the form.
Correct.
They would have had to send us a copy of their photo ID and not the form in order to verify.
Correct.
Did we inform these voters that the form would not work for them and that they would have to provide a photo ID?
All voters that didn't have these identification on their records were sent a letter over the summer to provide that information for us. They were not given a specific notice that their ID would be, that their driver's license would be required.
Okay, thank you. I make a motion that we count these ballots.
Madam Chair, we could just get maybe 20 seconds.
Sure.
A second.
Commissioner Bluestein, please call the roll.
Commissioner Deely.
Aye.
I vote nay. Commissioner Sabir.
Aye.
The ID verified no social security number or driver's license on shore ballots will count 2-1. Please proceed.
The next category is also with ID verification. The ID that they provided on the response was the opposite of what is on the shore file.
How many?
There are also 2 in that category.
These voters received our ID verification letters and they responded by filling out the form that we sent them?
Correct.
Did we inform these voters which identification number we needed, or did we ask them for either number?
As of this moment, there is no way for me to accurately get that information out of the shore system, so there was no way for me to inform the voter which one we had on file.
Okay. So they provided the opposite of what we needed?
Correct.
I believe the issue here is our communication. If we need only their driver's license number, we should not be giving them the option or providing their social security number or vice versa. I had hoped that we might do it differently this election, but it looks like this was something that did not happen in the transition of election supervisors. We should not punish the voters for lack of clarity on our part. I motion that we count the opposite ID ballots.
Second.
Commissioner Bluestein, please call the roll.
Commissioner Deely.
Aye.
I vote nay. Commissioner Sabir.
Aye.
The ballots ID provided was opposite of what is on the shore file, passed 2-1. Those ballots will count. Please proceed.
The next category is also ID verification. The ID that they provided on the form does not match what we have on the shore files.
How many?
There are 5 in this category.
I make a motion that we do not count these ballots.
Second.
Commissioner Bluestein, please call the roll.
Commissioner Deely.
Aye.
I vote aye. Commissioner Sabir.
Aye.
The motion that the ID verification where the ID doesn't match the shore file, those ballots will not count. That passed unanimously. Please proceed.
The final category I have for the commissioners today is the voters needed to provide ID verification and did not respond to the letter that we mailed.
Is there anyone here representing a candidate to offer argument? Good morning. Please state your name for the record.
Yeah, I just turned it on.
There you go. Can you repeat your name?
Yes. Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Carmelo Seminara.
Good morning, Mr. Seminara. What can we do for you today, Carmen?
Well, I'm here today because Nick Studio had called me in about an hour ago and said that there was an issue with my registration and ID not matching, and there was a mail-in of some sort that never got to my home. So I'm just verifying that my ID is with HR. Obviously, I exist. I've been with the department for 20 years, and I'm hoping that you guys count my vote.
Thank you, Carmen.
Thank you, Commissioners.
So I'm going to make a motion that we count Carmen Seminara's vote. Just his one vote.
Second.
Commissioner Bluestein, please call the roll.
Commissioner Daly,
Aye.
I vote aye.
Okay, looks like we're counting Carmen's vote. That motion passed unanimously. Thank you, Carmen. I will also, is there anybody here to offer comment on any of the categories before we finish up? Yeah, I know. I'm going to make a motion that we do not count the ID verification where the voter did not respond.
Second.
Commissioner Bluestein, please call the roll.
Commissioner Daly,
Aye.
I vote aye. Commissioner Sabir,
The ballots where the ID verification was not responded to will not be counted. That motion passed unanimously. Thank you. There are no items. Oh, Commissioner Bluestein, do you have any items to be added to the agenda?
I have none.
Commissioner Sabir, do you have any items to be added to the agenda? Thank you. There are no items remaining on the agenda.
So our whole total was, so the missing signature and the naked